Hello everybody, welcome to Wealthy Hustlers, where we talk about anything and everything happening and has happened around the globe. But first, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss out any updates from the Wealthy Hustlers. Watch the video till the end and leave us a comment so that we be able to improve our content. As per the current situation, Russia, China, Iran, and some other Central Asian countries have made an alliance that they'll no longer be trading in US dollars, which has raised some major concerns about the world economy. Is dollar going to get collapsed? Our dollar-centric economies are going to face the consequences. Is the great American dream going to get lost in the void? Watch the video till the end so that you might get a clearer picture about the current situation. Centralized currencies are controlled and regulated by a central authority, such as a government or a central bank. The US dollar is a prime example of a centralized currency. The Federal Reserve, which is the central bank of the United States, has the power to control the supply of dollars in circulation by setting interest rates, buying and selling government bonds, and engaging in other monetary policy activities. The Federal Reserve's control over the dollar is what makes it a centralized currency. This control means that the Federal Reserve can manipulate the value of the dollar relative to other currencies, which can have significant implications for international trade and investment. For example, if the Federal Reserve decides to lower interest rates, it can make the dollar less valuable relative to other currencies, which can make US exports more competitive and stimulate economic growth. The dollar's status as the world's primary reserve currency is rooted in its use as a medium of exchange and store of value. In the years after World War II, the US emerged as the world's leading economy, and the dollar became the currency of choice for international trade and investment. Countries around the world began to hold dollars as a reserve asset, which meant that they could use it to settle international debts and purchase goods and services. The dollar's reserve currency status has many advantages for the US. It allows the country to borrow money at lower interest rates than other countries, as investors have confidence in the stability of the US economy and the dollar. The use of the dollar as a reserve currency also means that the US can print more dollars than would otherwise be able to, without causing the value of the dollar to plummet. However, the dollar's reserve currency status also has its disadvantages. The US has a large trade deficit, which means that it imports more goods than it exports. This trade deficit means that there is a constant demand for dollars outside of the US, as other countries need dollars to purchase US goods and services. This demand for dollars means that the US has to continually create new dollars to meet this demand, which can lead to inflation and a weakening of the dollar's value. The centralized control of the dollar also means that its value is subject to the whims of the Federal Reserve and the US government. For example, in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis, the Federal Reserve engaged in quantitative easing, which involved creating new dollars to purchase government bonds and other assets. While this policy helped to stimulate the US economy, it also led to concerns about the stability of the dollar as a global reserve currency. The US dollar is currently the world's primary reserve currency and is widely used in international trade and investment. However, there are several factors that could potentially lead to the collapse of the dollar. But nowadays the dollar is going through an alarming situation which might lead towards the dollar's major collapse. How is that going to happen? Watch the video till the end so that you get the idea about how this major shift in the world is going to happen. One of the primary factors that could contribute to a collapse of the dollar is the US government's growing debt. The US government has been running budget deficits for decades, and the national debt has now reached over $28 trillion. This debt has been financed by borrowing from foreign countries, and if these countries were to lose confidence in the US economy, they may choose to sell off their holdings of US Treasury bonds, which could lead to a sharp drop in the value of the dollar. Another factor that could contribute to a collapse of the dollar is the increasing use of alternative currencies and payment systems. With the rise of cryptocurrencies and digital payment systems, there is a growing trend towards decentralized currencies that are not controlled by any central authority. If these alternative currencies become widely adopted, it could reduce the demand for dollars and undermine the dollar's status as the world's primary reserve currency. Additionally, trade imbalances and protectionist policies could also contribute to a collapse of the dollar. If other countries were to retaliate against US trade policies by reducing their purchases of US goods and services, it could lead to a decrease in demand for dollars and a corresponding drop in the value of the currency. A collapse of the dollar would have significant implications for the global economy. The US economy is currently the largest in the world, and a collapse of the dollar could trigger a global recession. It could also lead to a shift in the balance of economic power, with other countries such as China and Europe potentially emerging as dominant economic powers. The US dollar has long been the world's primary reserve currency, used in international trade and investment. However, the increasing popularity of cryptocurrencies has led some to question whether the US dollar will remain the dominant currency in the future. One of the primary ways that cryptocurrencies could impact the US dollar is by reducing demand for the dollar. As more people and businesses adopt cryptocurrencies as a method of payment and investment, the demand for dollars may decrease. This could potentially lead to a decrease in the value of the dollar relative to other currencies. Another way that cryptocurrencies could impact the US dollar is by reducing the power of central banks to control monetary policy. Cryptocurrencies are decentralized and not controlled by any central authority, making them difficult to regulate. This could make it more challenging for central banks to control inflation and other economic factors. Cryptocurrencies could also potentially challenge the dominance of the US dollar as the primary reserve currency. As more countries and businesses adopt cryptocurrencies, it could lead to a shift in the balance of economic power away from the US and towards other countries. However, it's important to note that cryptocurrencies are still a relatively new and volatile market. Their impact on the global economy is still uncertain, and it's difficult to predict what the future will hold. Currencies can and do collapse, but it's not a minor event. When a currency collapses, it's down to a significant economic or political event in a country that has a huge impact on its citizens. It's not a likely outcome at all in most countries around the world, and that's particularly true for the United States. This is down to the US dollar's status as the global reserve currency. So while technically the US dollar could collapse, the chances of that happening anytime soon are incredibly slim. For investors, currency collapses can impact their portfolios if they invest globally, as they should be. The best way to protect against this is through sufficient diversification. By having assets spread across different industries and in different currencies, it limits the potential damage of a currency collapse on a portfolio. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you smash the like button. If you have any sort of queries or suggestions, make sure you comment down below so that we be able to improve our videos. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.